What's up, brothers and sisters, brothers? G-World7_D. I'm going to do this quick message. And this is needed now more than ever. And I want brothers and sisters of Aboriginal American descent to hear this. And this needs to go real deep, all right? Right now, we at war. We've been at war, but we're really at war. And a lot of the battles we're going to be facing now, we have been facing our fellow melanated people. I said this over and over again. I'm going to say this again. Do not listen to these fairy-ass Negroes, man. They will lead you to the pits of hell. You know, I said before, you got these Negroes on YouTube, call themselves the Manosphere. And the Negro Women's Spear, whatever, who talk negative about their own. Let me tell you something now. We have. We all is basically what we have. You cannot sit up there and believe that you can solve your problem or go running somewhere else, fleeing. You see what these doggone immigrants are doing. They fleeing their countries and they causing hell everywhere they done gone and went. All right? You cannot flee your land. I told you before, there's a Negro on YouTube who boasts and brag about he doesn't date black American women no more, or his son doesn't date black American women no more, or his son didn't date black American women no more. And he says that with pride. What that tells me is that Negro was a failure as well. Not only failed himself, his failed relationship, but he failed his damn son for his son to think that way. That's a clown. And unfortunately, too many of these young youth are listening to that bozo. And there's plenty of them on YouTube talking that nonsense. You got a lot of ignorant Negroes giving misadvice. See, if you sit there and constantly procreate people outside of your own, not only outside of your so-called race, you're bleaching yourself out, but then you're also going to wipe out your lineage when you're marrying all these other foreign people. And your culture's going to be basically it's going to go drown, or it's going to drain away when you're constantly going outside, when you constantly think yourself as an immigrant, or identifying yourself as an immigrant, calling yourself African and all these other crazy-ass terms. You're basically erasing your true culture and your true heritage when you do stuff like that. So when you listen to clowns like Umar Johnson, all right, and Amon Ra Squad, learn your true history, learn who you really are, take pride in who you are. Do not allow these foreigners to sit up there and belittle you. So if you knew your true history, you know better, and you would not listen to them clowns. You would not talk about going back to Africa, because we're not from Africa. This is our land. We're going to have to understand that, all right? And many Negroes don't want to hear that. They want to believe that they're just slaves from Africa. I said this over and over again. Despite of some issues that you may have with certain black women or men, we need each other to preserve our lineage and our culture. We need each other. So we cannot sit up there and praise other groups of people and belittle our own. That is very destructive, man. That is extremely destructive. We gotta love ourselves first and foremost. That is the main thing. We have to love ourselves first and foremost. We cannot sit there and pump up these other people. That's why their heads gotten big, because they know the weak-minded Negro. And I'm telling you right now, bringing all these little foreign blacks up in here is basically trying to race you out, because these fools know that they're easily controlled, and the fact is that they don't owe them anything. And they will do anything for a butter biscuit, or a Twinkie, or just a pat in the head, like you pat your damn pet. These Negroes will do anything and everything for a white acceptance. So I don't expect much from them. But I want you brothers and sisters to understand this, man. You're going to have to stop pushing this so-called Pan-Africanism. It's destructive on our community, man. It really is. And I said this for a long time, man. Stop talking about Pan-Africanism. These foreign Negroes are showing who they really are, man. They really not. And this applies to every single one of them, no. But they're showing who they are. And I'm telling you now, you cannot date or procreate with these other groups. I'm saying this now because you get these Amanda Seals, you get these Issa Rae, you get that other clown who I think his father's Nigerian, mother's American. All he does is talk about Aboriginal Americans on YouTube. I forgot his name. But you get these little mixed head Negroes, man, just like being mixed with white folks. They're crazy as hell, man. They're crazy as hell. They make no sense, and they're anti-Aboriginal Americans, because I guess they try to please their little African side, but they hate the American side. Many of us have been too welcoming of these clowns. I'm being honest with you. You cannot date and marry outside your race, and don't marry outside your group. I'm telling you right now, man. People don't want to hear this, man, but you got to hear this. At this state now, we need to love ourselves first. When I mean ourselves, as Aboriginal Americans first. Stop talking about Africa, because we're not African. I said over and over again in my videos, I talk about the very different black groups globally. Because black people, so-called black people, are Aboriginal to this planet. And the tricks that white folks have done, the trick phraseologies, the wording that they've done, that they said, that they want to continue to make people who are so-called black into different races. This is the trick that they do to write themselves in the history that they had nothing to do with. But we're not the same. In other videos, I talk about how we warred amongst each other. Different so-called black groups warred amongst each other. See, the Pan-Africans just want to see a black face and say, okay, we're brothers and sisters because we're so-called black. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. And a lot of these foreign blacks are showing you that, man. They're showing you that they come from these countries where they're basically are treated as second-class citizens, or they have a deep issue of colorism and classism in their countries. There's a deep form of self-hatred in their countries, man, and they bring that mess here. They bring their self-hatred attitude and foolishness here. And they're causing a divide in our community, man, and they're causing havoc in our community. Even with reparations, you hear these Negroes talking about reparation for all people. What? Reparation for these other Negroes? They had nothing to do with this land. They're not from this land. Why you want to include them? That has basically hindered our people, man. So when you hear these little Jack Daniel talking Negroes, man, boasting and bragging and attacking and dogging out their own women and bragging about their son dating non-Aboriginal American black women, or basically non-black women, period, that's a clown. And Negroes who follow him and those individuals are clowns. Now, some brothers who did the manosphere probably want to have a group session with black men talking about issues and how black men can improve them. That's fine. But a lot of them Negroes, most of them Negroes, all they do is bash their own damn women and brag about some foreign women. Niggas going to Colombia now and getting killed. You go to these damn countries, man, where these women from these other countries aspire to be white. Their main goal is to be white. They can be dark as I know what, but their main thing is to have a little white kid. They want to, quote, improve the race. That's how sick it is in Latin America. That's why when I hear them Negro songs tell us who the hell we are, I laugh, man. I do not want any person like a Joy Reid, an Amanda Seals, a Issa Rae, a Shirley Ralph, a Jabari, a Garfield, a Sinetta speaking on our issues because they're not of our lineage. They should not be saying a damn word about our history and our culture because they're not of our lineage, and we should not allow that, man. Point blank. That should be shut down. If you're not of our lineage, you cannot speak. You definitely cannot take lead if you're not of full lineage. This is a must. This is what we have to do to preserve our culture. We have the best, we have the richest, and the greatest culture in the world. Don't let no Negro say we don't have no culture. Our culture is imitated and worshipped around this planet. Don't nobody give a damn about these other Negroes. Don't nobody give a damn about them, man. Our culture is where it stands. Chicago style stepping. All right? Break dancing. The cha-cha-cha. Swing dancing. The Charleston. All that's ours. All that's ours. All of it's ours. All of it's ours. So do not let no idiot tell you have no culture. Do not let no idiot tell you that you're a descendant of African slaves, which you're not, because there weren't that many slaves brought here, and most of us were already here. I said this over and over again. And then you did have a lot of black Europeans who was expelled out of Europe coming over here, who mixed in with the blacks here. Most of us are not African. I know that's hard for so many people to grapple, but most of us are not African. And you're going to have to do your study and research to see this. Most of us are not African. You got to understand that we're here. You also got to understand that brothers and sisters sailed around the world and they traded around the world. And unfortunately, some of them took wives from other lands. I'm telling you, this is what happened. But you have to study your real history and don't listen to outsiders tell you who the hell you are. Do not listen to people like Gates. That Negro has never found a black woman in his life. I'm telling you, do your research. Do not listen to these clowns talking about DNA and going back to Africa. You study your true history and you'll know who you really are. I don't listen to them Negroes, man, because they're idiots. So I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, learn your true history, learn who you really are, all right? But as Aboriginal Black American men and women, we need to continue to procreate with one another, all right? And build and restructure our families. Stop worrying about others, man. Worry about ourselves first and foremost, all right? If people view that as being xenophobic, that's on them because we're constantly being attacked by these outsiders, man. Constantly. And it seems like I said, they're trying to get some points from white folks. So we don't need that. Worry about ourselves first. Worry about our in-house family first. Continue to represent our ancestors who built this country, who came up with great inventions and built this damn country. From the flying machine to the car to the cell phone, our ancestors did that here, of our blood. We did that here. So study your true history. Study your true history. Study your true history. Study it. Try to master it. Study it. All right, peace and brothers and sisters. Peace and love. Peace and love.